Hello, everyone. Dr. Vicky here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center. Well, it's time for Taroscopes again. We're going to be doing the Taroscopes for the sign of Leo, and that's Leo Sun, Leo Moon, or Leo Rising for the month of September 2023. So, before we get into the read, just talk a little astrology. Now, this month we have the Sun, which is your ruling planet in Virgo and then moving into Libra as it does. It's moving into Libra on the 23rd. That's going to be the first day of fall here in the Northern Hemisphere and the first day of spring in the Southern Hemisphere. Congratulations, Southern Hemisphere. It will soon be spring for you. And I know you've had kind of a cold winter. So we have Venus to start the month, still retrograde. It does go direct on the 3rd. It is in Leo, as you know, Leo. And so it is going to continue to be in Leo all month, but after the 3rd, it's going to start moving forward through Leo. So we're going to it's been a very introspective period of time for all of us, but especially for Leo because Venus is in Leo. And the Venus retrograde cycle was helping us to find that inner light that is within all of us, but is especially prominent in the sign of Leo. Now, Mercury is in Virgo, that's your second house, Leo, and it is retrograde until the 15th. And then on the 15th, it stations and goes direct and then moves through that Virgo energy, but in a direct motion. That's your second house of values and resources. So you can maybe be rethinking about that initially and then moving forward in a new way when it comes to your resources. But that second house is also your house of values, and it's the house associated with your sense of self-worth. And with Venus now moving direct and then Mercury moving direct, you might start to feel a little bit better about yourself, or you may start to express those new parts of yourself that you found through that Mercury Venus retrograde cycle in your sign. What else do I want to say? This month we have a new moon in the sign of Virgo. Virgo again is your second house, Leo. So this is a good time. That occurs actually, before I tell you it's a good time, that occurs on the 14th. So it's a good time to start a new creative project, perhaps. Maybe there's something that you want to start, a new way of bringing in some more resources. That would be a good time to start that. But I might wait until Mercury goes direct. So you could start thinking about it on the new moon. You don't have to do it on the new moon necessarily. Now, let me just say this. Venus goes direct on the 3rd. Venus is known as the lesser benefic. On the 4th, Jupiter goes retrograde. That's the greater benefic, and Jupiter is in Taurus for you, and this is your house of public standing. It's your 10th house, and with Jupiter going backwards, you may feel like there's a little less, I don't know, pizzazz in your in the way people are seeing you, or this is an opportunity for you to sort of step back a little bit from the public eye. You'll still be in the public eye, but not as and what just in a different way. And I want to say that perhaps you've made some leaps ahead in this time with Jupiter in Taurus, and now you're catching up. Now there'll be a little bit of a catching up period. So it doesn't mean you'll be less popular necessarily, but you'll have a little bit more time to integrate what has just happened to you, right? As Jupiter moves through that house. Okay. Mercury, as I said, goes direct. That occurs on the 15th. That's the day after the new moon in Virgo. Interesting because when the sun moved into Virgo, Mercury was stationed, and it wasn't going retrograde yet. It was still considered direct, and then it moved. Then it went stationed retrograde. It's actually standing still. It wasn't. It's hardly moving. And now with the full moon in, I mean, with the new moon in Virgo, the next day, Mercury, your ruling planet, goes direct. So there's this sort of like new beginnings, but a little bit of like a hitch, a bit of a hitch. So what else is new? All right. The other thing that's happening this month, we do have an opposition of the sun, which is your ruling planet, to Neptune, that occurs on the 19th. That can be a little bit confusing for you. We do have Mercury conjunct Mercury retrograde conjunct the sun. That's the highlight of the Mercury retrograde cycle. And that again is in Virgo. You can make decisions about your finances at that time. And that's happening on the 6th. We have a full moon in the sign of Aries. Aries is your house of long distance travel. It's your house of truth and justice and your philosophy of life. Something comes to fruition, something comes into fullness at that time for you. And if you're so inclined to like teach classes or something like that, we could see that maybe something would come up with that, or taking a class, learning something new. We do also have a Pluto trine the sun this month. So Pluto is opposing Neptune, which is a transpersonal planet. It's trining Pluto, and it's trining Uranus. So there's a lot of otherworldly energy coming in. Now, all of those planets I spoke of, Uranus, Pluto, and Neptune, are all moving retrograde in the sky right now. And so you're going to be connecting, but it may take a little while for it to manifest itself. But you're getting a lot of cosmic energies in this month, Leo. And so it's going to, and they're not necessarily coming in a traumatic way. In some cases, there may be some confusion, but for the most part, it's important to just sort of let it flow in, because it's informing you on levels that you may not be aware of at this time, but when the time comes and you have to pull that energy in to whatever situation you're in, you're going to be able to do that. All right, so let's take a look. I'm starting these readings with the Angels and Ancestors Oracle cards by Kyle Gray. It's a beautiful deck, beautiful art. I'm sorry about that. You know my technical skills, right? Move the computer. All right. Oh, Jesus, I keep doing that, don't I? Oh, these are not cooperating. They just don't want to come together. I don't know what's going on. Let's try a different way. If at first, Leo. So pretty spectacular summer, Leo, or winter, I guess, if you're down in the southern hemisphere, in the southern climes. All right, let's see what we have here. Summer, bask in joy and light. Bask in joy and light. Okay, let's see what it says. Rise up, open your wings and shine. Bring your projects and plans out into the light, into manifestation. This is a perfect opportunity for you to enjoy the fruits of your labor. Light has come to banish the darkness. Clarity is arriving too, allowing you to know exactly where you are and how you can move forward. Angel and ancestor guides are encouraging you to enjoy the moment and not to rush forward, because this is the time for pleasure, enjoyment, and expansion. Sounds like Jupiter to me, right? There is a great chance that you have extra energy, creativity, and inspiration at this time. Notice what is coming to you, as it is an inspiration directly from the divine. When the summer card arrives, it could indicate that the coming summer will usher in important energies with regards to your question or intentions. So that would apply mostly to our Southern Hemisphere folk, but you never know. You don't have to be in the Southern Hemisphere to have a manifestation in the summer. All right. Wow. Beautiful card, right? The bee. When I turned 60, um, when I moved into my 60th, the decade of the 60s, I guess. I don't know how to talk about it. The seventh decade of my life. Anyway, the first thing I did was I said to my husband, I want I saw this necklace, and it was the bee, like the hexagon, and it was filled with amber, and there were two little silver bees on it. And I'm like, oh, I really like this. I felt like I needed that energy in my 60s, and the sixth energy is about community. And I felt like I needed to like connect with my community when I was in my 60s in a way that I didn't feel so much in my 50s. So it's pretty interesting how that shifts and changes. So I'm going to be using The Good Tarot by Colette Baron Reed, and we'll take a look and see what's up for Leo for this month of September. Last month was quite the month. I mean, I look at that and I say, oh, it was quite the month, but man, they were all quite the month, weren't they? I mean, it seemed like one right after another. Um, from the eclipses on, there was like all its intensity. And let's see here. So we're not getting into eclipse season until October. So this September is a little bit of a respite. It's a little bit of a respite. Things are going to get intense again in October, I think. But September is it's a time when we can just sort of like maybe breathe for the first time in a long time. It is hurricane season though, so we can expect more of that. The Aries reading talks about that. There's a lot of anxiety around the weather, or so it seemed. All right, almost ready. Almost ready. Almost. Shit, dropped them all over the floor. Ah, hey, when that happens. I don't have that much space on. I know I say this every time. Like, get some space, lady. Okay, we're all jiggly wiggly here. Okay. The two of air. So we are thinking about two alternatives. There are two alternatives here. We're looking at it. We're looking at the other one. We're looking at one. We have to make a decision. We're at this place where a decision needs to be made. Let's see what's challenging that. Hope. Hope. This could be a hope that you don't have to make the decision. The decision on some level will be made for you. This is a meditation card. So as a challenge card for this decision to be made, perhaps you're having difficulty with meditation or quieting the mind. And so I would say that one of the reasons I think that you can't decide which decision to make is because you need to align to that higher spiritual self that we can, our God self. And in order to do that, we need to listen, right? We need to listen to that still voice within, and we do that through meditation. So I would suggest you meditate. Underneath it, we have the two of fire. This is about shining your light. This is about shining your light, and perhaps what you're trying to figure out is how can I best shine my light. Now remember, the summer came, right? The summer was the card of the ancestors, and it said that you're shining, your light is shining. This is a time of really sort of expressing your light. So rest assured that um this is the time for you to shine. Let's see what's in the past. We have the Hierophant. This is about listening to that small, still voice within. It's about, this is a traditional energy. And I actually do love this Hierophant card in this. I just love this deck, period. But it says, if everything that you've done up to this point has been for this moment, all the studying, all the experiences, all the challenges have all come to help you develop your own trust in that small still voice within, that you trust what is coming through. You trust what's coming through. See what's in the sky. Balance and justice. If there's if there's a legal issue that comes up for you, or something you've been thinking about, this is the time to deal with that legal issue. This is the time to balance the scales. It's time to look at things for what they are. And if in fact, this is a time that justice comes. Now, I'm just going to point out very briefly that the ex-president does have a Leo ascendant, so this could be justice for him as well. Okay, let's see what's in the immediate future. Temptation. You'll be tempted to do. This is the Devil card in this deck, but the Devil card is about something that keeps you from your light. So you may find yourself getting involved in things that you're delaying your shining, so to speak. You're saying, well, I can do that, but so whatever keeps you from your light will come up, and you will be tempted to step back and not shine your light in this case. But I would suggest that that's not a good idea. How people see you. The 10 of Cups. It's interesting. 10 of Water here. I did the Aries reading, and this is the exact same card that came up in the same place. The 10 of Cups, as it were. So how people see you is loving, happy, joyful, fulfilled. Let's see your domestic situation. We have Patience, which is the Temperance card. So you're going to have to be very careful. A lot of major arcanas here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 major arcanas. And I picked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards. Of the 7 cards I picked, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. Picked 8 cards. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them have been major arcanas, which indicates that this month for you is one of those kind of what you've been working up towards months, what all this work has brought you to. So in your domestic situation, there is some you need to walk the straight and narrow. You need to be careful. You can't get caught up in extremes. You can't overspend. You can't overdo. Everything within balance, and also as an opportunity for some healing. Hopes and fears. We have the Earth Messenger. I think there's some financial fears around this, although that's the only financial card that's come up. But that is, I think there is a like, can I do it? Do I have the ability to do it? Do I have enough resources? Am I resourceful enough? Right? Fear, or hope. I can do this, right? I have enough resources. I'm sure I do, right? Like, so whatever side you're doing, that's a little bit of a stickity wicket. And we have at the end, we have the Hanged Man. Why not? Another major arcana. This reminds us that there are some things we have control over and some things we don't. And it's important to know the difference. There are some things we're going to have to accept, and are going to require us to look at things from a different perspective to get the most out of it. It really requires us to stay connected to spirit. Very, very important. And you will see what you need to see. Let's see what's underneath it. We have the King of Earth, dominion over your resources. The Six of Water, which is a nostalgia card. So there's some nostalgia coming up, some childhood stuff coming up, that sense of safety, perhaps, that you had as a child. Maybe you're yearning for that. This actually comes, this for me looks like my dad and my childhood. I have a Leo rising. And then the Two of Cups, which is about love and connection and giving and taking, giving and receiving. Um, so with all the major arcanas coming down the road here for you, there is this sense that your life is not really your own. That there's something bigger out there, like moving the chessboard for you, and you're just like one of the pieces. Um, but know that you are protected, that you are safe, that things are going to work out for you. Uh, Even if initially it doesn't necessarily feel that way, with the Hanged Man card at the end, it does require us to have some faith that it's exactly as it needs to be. Um, and then also to connect to spirit. And when we connect to spirit, I mean, a lot of people connect to spirit when they're in crisis, but if we can connect to spirit every day without a crisis needed, then we listen to the promptings of spirit, then I think less crises have to happen. We can mitigate some of this stuff, people. We can. All right. Well, that's what the cards say. I hope you have a wonderful month. Like and subscribe if you would. If you know a Leo or Leo rising or Leo moon that this would be helpful for, or anybody really. I mean, you don't have to be a Leo to if this resonates for you, you say, you know who this reminds me of so and so. Even if they're not a Leo, send them the read and see what comes up for them. If you would like a personal reading with me, I do have availability for that. I do 60-minute readings or 90-minute readings. If it's your first reading with me, I prefer to have the 90 minutes if you can afford it. It's not too expensive, but it is a commitment, and I understand that. I try to keep it as reasonable as I can, honestly. So there's a link below for that. If you're interested in that. Otherwise, I will see you again next month for your Taroscopes for the month of October. And check out my In the News segments and my daily astrology in the mornings going through the garden, or maybe just my weekly astrology that usually come out on Fridays. And then In the News I try to do it on the same day, but it doesn't always, depends on who's in the news. All right, guys, have yourself a great month. I'll see you again next month. Take care, everyone. Shine your light. Shine your light. Namaste.